Hello everyone! Most War Thunder players, while playing on various maps, don't even realize that most of them are geographically accurate, have lore, and depict many military conflicts of the 20th century. I'll tell you all about this in this video. Abandoned Factory. This map appeared in War Thunder relatively recently, specifically in the 2.17 Danger Zone update. The events on the map take place in the early 1990s, during the Abkhaz-Georgian conflict. The thing is, this map is based on a real semi-abandoned Georgian town called Kvarcheli. It's located in the territory controlled by partially recognized Republic of Abkhazia. The city's landscapes closely resemble the map presented to us in War Thunder. Some of the factory buildings were fully recreated by the developers in the game. They also didn't forget about the cable cars and the bridge near one of the team's spawn points. The town itself is semi-abandoned because it suffered greatly during the aforementioned conflict and most of its residents left. From 1989 to 2014, the population decreased from 21,000 to 4,500 people. Nowadays, the town has become a favorite spot for urban explorers. Tunisha. With the 1.55 update, the British tech tree was introduced to the game, along with the maps iconic for British tanks, Tunisha and El Alamein. Tunisha maps is located in the territory of the country of the same name, near the settlement of Veria Karit. Naturally, the ground map is largely fictional. It resembles the real area only by the river and the island at its mouth, where in reality there are no houses. The aviation map, however, is quite accurate and even depicts the town of Akarit. In the area where this map is set, the Battle of Veria Karit took place in 1943 as the part of the Allies' Tunisian campaign. On March 29, 1943, Allied forces captured the city of Gapes, forcing Axis forces to retreat to Veria Karit. The battle began on April 6, 1943 and continued until April 16. The British Eighth Army fought against the German-Italian forces, which held positions around Veria Karit. The German and Italian troops were well equipped, making the battle quite fierce. Despite this, the Allies managed to break through the enemy's defenses, leading to significant losses among the German and Italian forces. Second Battle of El Alamein. This map takes place in the desert, 75 kilometers southwest of the Egyptian city of El Alamein. The Second Battle of El Alamein was one of the key battles of the North African campaign during World War II and held great strategic importance. The battle occurred in 1942, lasting from October 23rd to November 11th. Here, Allied forces under the command of Bernard Montgomery faced off with the Italian-German forces led by Erwin Rommel. On October 23rd at 11 p.m., after a 20-minute artillery barrage involving over 1,000 guns, the British forces launched their offensive. On October 24th, General Stumme died of a heart attack during a British air raid. On the evening of October 25th, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, who had been on sick leave, hurriedly returned to North Africa and resumed command of the German-Italian Panther Army. Rommel immediately concentrated his tank divisions and launched a series of counterattacks on October 26th, which slowed the British advance. However, on November 4th, the British forces broke through the front. There was now a real chance to encircle and cut off the coastal grouping of the German-Italian forces. In these conditions, Rommel ordered a retreat from Egypt. In doing so, he took almost all the Italian transportation and freshwater supplies. 4 Italian infantry divisions, around 30,000 men, which were left without transport, surrendered.
Anyway, they come and get it, and they come at the double.
Vietnam. As for this location, it's largely fictional, including its aviation map. The developers created a sort of composite image of Vietnamese terrain. According to them, they were inspired by the Vietnamese city of Hoi An and its surroundings when designing the map. Additionally, the map features many real and well-known Vietnamese landmarks, although they have no connection to Hoi An. For instance, the developers placed the Hanoi Opera House directly across the Thien Mu Pagoda Buddhist temple, and the temple itself is surrounded by several replicas of the Tam Thai pagoda gates. This architectural ensemble is entirely fictional, as in reality its components are scattered across different parts of Vietnam. The developers also depicted parts of Mai Son Hindu temple complex, which was built in 10th century Anno Domini. Most of these buildings were destroyed in 1969 during carpet bombings by the US Air Force. Another interesting detail on the Vietnam map is the inclusion of Vietnamese propaganda messages broadcast over loudspeakers aimed at demoralizing American soldiers.
You can get killed here. Get out while you are still alive, before it is too late.
During the Vietnam War, South Korean Marine Corps base was located in Hoi An, with South Korea fighting alongside the US in this conflict. The city itself was controlled by the South Vietnamese army. There were no significant battles within Hoi An's territory. Sinai. This map appeared in War Thunder in Desert Hunters update. The map depicts an area located approximately 30 kilometers from the Egyptian city of Suez. As for its historical background, the Sinai Peninsula was the site of several Arab-Israeli wars. On this map, we can be looking at the first Arab-Israeli War of 1948, because in the older version of the Sinai map, there were wrecked Centurions and T-54 model 1951 tanks scattered across the map, which did not participate in the first Arab-Israeli War. The T-54 first saw combat on the Sinai Peninsula during the Six-Day War of 1967, which gives us reason to believe that the map depicts one of the clashes between the Egyptian army and the Israeli IDF during that conflict. It is also worth mentioning that the guns on the destroyed Centurions on the Sinai map were not historically accurate, as they were equipped with 20-pounder guns, whereas by the time of Six-Day War, Israel had modernized its Centurions, outfitting them with the 105mm L7A1 guns. There is no specific information available about a particular battle that took place in the area depicted by this map. Pradesh. This is a relatively new map introduced in 2.19 Drone Age update. Pradesh translates from Hindi as region or province. There are 5 states in India that include Pradesh in their names, so determining the exact location of this map was quite challenging. Nonetheless, I attempted to do so based on a few clues. The map featured a river, a dam, and a strange building resembling an ancient temple on the mountain near the helicopter airfield. After taking a screenshot and performing a reverse image search on Google, I came across a very similar building located in the Indian city of Bilaspur, which is in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Nearby you can also observe a dam, a river, and the beginning of the Himalayan mountain ranges. These are of course just my guesses, but there is a downside to this theory. The location does not match what the developer stated. The state where the temple is located does not border Pakistan, as the developers mentioned when describing the map on the game's website, so most likely we are once again dealing with a semi-fictional location. As for the historical aspect, it clearly refers to the Indo-Pakistani Wars. As soon as India and Pakistan gained independence from the British Crown in 1947, they immediately entered into the conflict over the disputed region called Kashmir. There were a total of 3 Indo-Pakistani wars. It all began when one of the Indian princes of Kashmir, Hari Singh, declared Kashmir an independent state. This did not sit well with Pakistan, as despite the fact that the elite in Kashmir was Indian, the region was predominantly Muslim. Because of this, Pakistan sent troops into Kashmir. The local elite sought help from India, and India agreed to assist only on the condition that Kashmir would become part of India. India sent in its troops and managed to take control of only 2/3 of the region. The conflict lasted from 1947 to 1949. The second conflict began in 1965 and ended without significant results. One noteworthy incident was that the Indian Centurion tank managed to shoot down a Pakistani helicopter with its tank gun. The third war between India and Pakistan took place in 1971. In this war, India supported the Bangladeshis, who were fighting against the Pakistani government for the independence of the East Pakistan. As the result of this war, a new independent country, Bangladesh, appeared on the world map. Indian PT-76B tanks, which were purchased from the USSR, played a significant role in the victory. The Pakistani forces had set up defenses along the numerous rivers. of the Ganges Delta, using them as natural barriers. Thanks to the amphibious capabilities, the Indian PT-70B tanks could quickly cross the water obstacles, outflank enemy defense points, and cut off retreating Pakistani forces. This conflict is also known for many tank battles between PT-76s and American M24 Chaffee tanks of the Pakistani army. If you end up on one of these tanks on the Pradesh map, know that this is highly canonical.